What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for another video, for another Walking Dead video in particular. This video is just a discussion video, something that I've seen a little bit about, something I've wanted to do a video about, just kind of to talk about the Walking Dead universe as a whole. And the big question, has the Walking Dead universe fizzled out? And I think that's a big question on everybody's mind. I've seen various other videos about it, about how the world is just not as exciting as it used to be. Because we can all agree that the first, I want to say 5, maybe 6 seasons, up to 7, that's kind of where it lost a lot of people, of the original flagship show were some of the best seasons that we've gotten. The later seasons, not so much. They had a lot of filler stories, a lot of episodes that we didn't need, and just things that didn't make sense, random characters that we did like, but it did not have the same feel to it. And then we had Fear the Walking Dead, which, my God, we had maybe first 3 seasons were okay, and then just from there it started to burn out. And then we had other spin-offs, of course, from that, but those were the 2 main shows there for quite a while. And then they had a good run, and then towards the end, everything just kind of really started to burn out, especially after we hit the 9th season of the regular Walking Dead show, where, of course, our main character, Rick, was killed off, and then we didn't hear anything about it. And then later, we did get the announcement that he was going to be back in a trilogy of movies. And then the pandemic hit, and we were left waiting for info, where we got none for the longest time. And then, meanwhile, Fear the Walking Dead is just a dumpster fire that just kept growing. Stories didn't make sense. They even sent Morgan over there to try to save it. It helped a little bit, but for the most part, people did not care about that show. It really started going downhill. The writing was terrible. The stories that they chose to go with, killing off certain characters, even though some of them wanted to be killed off, it was kind of hopeless at that point, where they really had something that could have been great there in the beginning. We could have seen the actual downfall of society, and it was just rushed. And then with Walking Dead, they kept leaving little clues here and there, as they did in Fear, where we were going to be built up to this major organization, this major group called the CRM. And we got droplets of information, soldiers popping up here and there. And then we got Walking Dead World Beyond, which was completely focused around that group, about that particular story arc. And we got introduced to some new characters, some rather freaking annoying. Could not stand them. Others were pretty tolerable. And then we also had Paige McIntosh, who played the part of Jadis, who was hopping from these other shows. She was one of the original Walking Dead cast who did parts in multiple shows, who was building up to that storyline. We're getting introduced to more and more of this as these shows went along, but then it just really did not end up paying off like it should have. We got the reveal that we were going to get Rick back. At first, we were going to see trilogy movies, and then, of course, the pandemic hit, like I mentioned, and it kind of put those plans on hold, and then we heard nothing for the longest time. And then after things eased up, after life kind of got back to the most normal it was ever going to be again, we got the news that the movies were now going to be a limited series, and that was just a whole nother kind of tease right there in itself, because as the trailers, as the promo material for that show, The Ones Who Live, came out, the way they phrased how that was going to be advertised changed pretty regularly. It was limited series, and then it was new series, and then it went back to limited 6-episode thing. So they were really kind of leading us back and forth, up and down these paths of deception for the most part. We didn't know where they were going, what they were going to do, until we finally got the show. We had the culmination of the CRM coming into full play. And then we got through our 6 episodes, we got Rick back, we got Michonne back, we got them back home, but the CRM played out to be nothing. They killed off this major character, Major General Beale, who was supposed to be this big new threat, who was snuffed out in the last few minutes of the last episode, and then the CRM was just no longer a threat. And I think that's where it lost a lot of people. It was still a great show, mind you. It was great to see Andy Lincoln and Denai Guerrero back to play these parts, to get the reunion, at least one of them that we wanted to see. And then after that, there was nothing. We didn't get any news of what was going to go on with this character, if either of them were ever going to come back. And then we got kind of some disappointing news where Scott Gimple, of course, who is infamous with the Walking Dead world and with its fans, he kind of made the comment that the reunion that we wanted to see, which was Daryl and Rick, because the basis of Daryl's whole show is him going out looking for Rick. And then he says that that reunion is irrelevant, which makes zero fucking sense. Why would you say something like that when, like I said, the basis of Daryl's show is going out to find him? He was the only one that was concerned with finding Rick. He didn't believe he was dead. And then to go and say that their reunion is irrelevant was the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And it's really kind of feeding into, why are we sticking with this show? We got Rick back. I think, for now at least, that is the most we're going to see of that man. I don't know if we're going to get any kind of second season for The Ones Who Live. I don't think that they know. And honestly, at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we're going to get any more full series with Andy Lincoln coming back to play the part of Rick Grimes. He might do a cameo of some sort. But to say that he'll come back and do a full series, I think that's pretty unlikely unless they just completely surprise me. And then we get our two current spinoffs, Dead City and Daryl Dixon, which, mind you, are good shows. They both had their first seasons at this point, and each respective spinoff, those first seasons were good. You know, they had good stories, and you know, we got to see with Daryl's show that there was a whole different surrounding area. There was a whole different environment that he got to be in, different scenery. So that was good. And then, you know, we get the rumors, even though they're already filming the second season, they have filmed the second season, then we get the rumors that there's going to be a third season. It's going to be in Spain. And so if you're not familiar with the comics, that kind of lends it to, are they going to introduce the Spain story from the standalone comic of Walking Dead called The Alien, where it has to do with Rick's brother? Is that something they're going to throw in there to kind of substitute any kind of reunion with Rick? I hope not, and if they did, it would be really stupid. And then you go off on Dead City. This is the latest rumor I've heard about Dead City, which I really hope they don't do, because apparently Jeffrey Dean Morgan has signed off on it. He thinks it's a good idea, which makes zero fucking sense. But here, the latest news with Dead City is that they are kicking around the idea of having Maggie and Negan fall in love, which is just basically pissing all over the grave of Glenn and everything that character did for that show, and the fact that they had many people walk away from the show at the moment of his death. They were just done with it. And I think if they went this direction, if this rumor is actually true and they go with this story, I think they're going to lose a lot more fans. I think people are just going to be in fucking uproar and they're going to walk away from the show, because that is some of the dumbest story I've ever heard. And if JDM actually approved this, he must be, I don't know, on something, or I don't know what's going on with this man. No offense to the man, no offense to the show. I have been loyally following the Walking Dead universe from the beginning, and I've suffered through Fear and some of the later seasons of Walking Dead, and World Beyond was okay, but then we had Tales. That was borderline unbearable. But if they went that direction with this story, I mean, come on. That's just stupid right there. You're just asking fans to give up on the show. So again, the basis of this video, has The Walking Dead fizzled out? I mean, we've had this show, this universe, for 14 years now, which is ridiculous to think about itself. So should they just kind of walk away? Should they kind of call it a day and give us the few things that we want and just end this universe? Because right now they are running it into the ground. But then again, we've already got confirmed third season of Daryl. I think there's a third season of Dead City. Probably not too far behind it, even though they are in the middle of filming second season right now. And with that too, the seasons or the content of The Walking Dead is few and far between now. We had the excitement of Andy and Denai coming back to give us that story built up over years. That's done now. So now it's just like, well, what else is there? Daryl's a great character. Maggie and Negan are great characters. But what more can they really do with it? How much longer can they really drag it on before we're just kind of like, whatever, cool. I'm just kind of over this story. And really the last request that we all have is, can we just get these characters to come home, to be reunited, and give us at least the happiest ending that they can manage with the set of characters that remain. and with the circumstances around the Alexandria set being since torn down, they still have the Commonwealth set. I believe it's it's on a private lot, so they can keep that up for as long as they need to. But anything past that, I think it's time to kind of just call it a day. Just be done with it, because they are going to kill, I mean, more so than they already have, this franchise, and it's just not going to be worth much here in the long run. But anyways, that's just a quick discussion video I wanted to do. And when I say quick, obviously 11 minutes or whatever, but I guess that will do it, guys. So if you stuck with me through that video, please leave a like. If you enjoyed the content, please leave comments. I want to know what you guys have to say, and of course, help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers and hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So until next time, guys, take care. Bye.